Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om. Dhyayamo dhavalavagunthanavatim tejomayim naishtikim snigdhapangavilokinim bhagavatim mandasmitashrimukhim vatsalyamritavarshinim sumadhuram sankirtanalapinim Shyamangim madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwarim Om Amriteshwaryai Namah Om Amriteshwaryai Namah Om Amriteshwaryai Namah. Om Amriteshwarye Namah. Continuing with our discussion on Hanuman Chalisa. So far we have discussed 19 verses. We discussed the 18th and the 19th verses the last week, both of them signifying the importance of good company that we have, which helps us grow both spiritually and materialistically. And especially the company of a perfected being, company of a Mahatma, company of a Sadguru takes us all the more higher unto the highest state. So we looked into the experiences of Sugriva and Vibhishana, both of them because of Lord Hanuman's company, the state that they reached. That's what we discussed about the last week. So today we will move on to the 18th and the 19th verses. The 18th verse goes as Yuga or Juga, either one is fine. Juga Sahasra Jojan Parbhanu Lilyotahi Madhur Phal Janu. So as always, let us first try to pronounce it in 4 parts. I'll repeat it. I'll pronounce it once. Please respond after me once. Like I had mentioned, Y and J are kind of interchanged, could be interchanged in the language of Awadhi. It's a colloquial way of doing it. So Yuga or Juga and Yojana, Jojana both are fine. Yuga Sahasra. Yuga Sahasra. Yojan Par Bhanu. Yojan Par Bhanu. Lilyo Tahi. Lilyo Tahi. Madhur Phal Janu. Madhur Phal Janu. I'll try to pronounce the whole words together once. Please repeat after me once. Yug Sahasra Yojan Par Bhanu Lilyo Tahi Madhur Phal Janu. Yug Sahasra Yojan Par Bhanu Lilyo Tahi Madhur Phal Janu. So what does the 18th verse convey to us? It says Yuga Sahasra Yojan Par Bhanu. Bhanu, the sun, the effulgent sun. Par can be translated to at. So Par Bhanu, sun is at. Sun is at where? Yuga Sahasra Yojana. Yuga can be translated vaguely into a long period of time. Yuga. Sahasra can be translated to thousand. We do Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama. Sahasra means thousand. So Sahasra, thousand. Yojana is a calculation of set of miles, a calculation as per the ancient tradition, the Vedic tradition. It is approximately around 7.5 to 8 miles, 1 yojana. It's a measurement in the Vedic tradition. So, Yuga Sahasra Yojana Paribhanu. Whereas the sun is at a great distance, wherein you are multiplying a great amount of time and great amount of distance, multiplying that, the verse says sun is sitting up there at a great distance. We'll look into it in detail. And the sun is sitting up there, and what did Hanuman do? Lilyo tahi. Lilyo, to consume, to gobble. Tahi, that. Madhur, sweet. Phal, fruit. Janu, to think, to consider. So considering the all-effulgent, huge sun sitting up there, miles and miles away, Hanuman understood that as a fruit, and he just gobbled it, is what the 18th verse talks about. It kind of reflects Hanuman's playfulness, especially when he was little, especially being a monkey. He was someone who was so difficult to contain. So he goes up, jumps, flies up into the sky, and gobbles the sun, is what the verse conveys here. So the first part of the verse, it goes as Yuga Sahasra Yojana Paribhanu. And as we discussed, Paribhanu, Bhanu, the sun, Par, at. So sun is at where? Yuga Sahasra Yojana. That's the measurement given here. Yuga Sahasra Yojana. Could be interpreted in two ways. One, just interpreting it on a general basis, or two, to interpret specifically, understanding each of the three terms. So first, on a general basis, Yuga Sahasra Yojana, the first way of a generalized interpretation. Yuga, like I had mentioned, it is a long period of time, yuga. So they're saying it is a long period of time. To yojana. Yojana, as I had mentioned, is basically a measurement of about 8 miles, but sahasra yojana, 1,000 yojanas. So that is again thousands of miles. So that also means it is long distance. So long amount of time, long amount of distance. Basically, it is conveying that the sun is at quite a distance. It takes a huge amount of time to get there, and it also takes a huge amount of distance to travel to get to the sun. So that is just a generalized translation of the first part of the verse. Sun, which is at a great distance and at a great time that it would take to get there. So that's the first one. The second interpretation, let's try to do it, because I'm giving it both because it is interpreted in either way. Some people say it is unnecessarily interpreted with specifics, which is sometimes wrong, or sometimes contextual. That's why I gave the generalized one too first, and then look at the specific one. So the specific one again, Yuga Sahasra Yojana. Yuga is a long period of time. Basically, the period of time of the creation is divided into 4 periods, and each period is referred to as Yuga. Yuga, we have heard of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga, the golden age, the period of righteousness, and Kali Yuga, the dark age that we are in, wherein righteousness is at decline, or is quite at a state of decline. And then Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga happen in between, wherein the amount of righteousness gets declined, or it goes down. So going from the golden age to the dark age. That's how the yugas are in sequence. Amma talks about the importance of righteousness in each of the yugas. Amma usually shares this particular story. It seems a person dies and he's going up into onto the Saint Peter's gate, or he's at the Yamaloka. He's with Chitragupta, the attendant or the personal attendant of the Lord of Death, the Lord of Dharma, Yama. So his assistant Chitragupta, and Chitragupta is sitting there in his office. So everyone has to go into the assistant's office first, and then he tells you, or he takes stock of all your good deeds, bad deeds, and then decides which direction you're going in. So that's how the trend is. Anyway, he goes into the office and he sees 3 clocks, and peculiarity of each of the clock. The first clock has only the hour and hand, which moves extremely slow. The second one has minutes hand, and the third one has seconds hand. So the person is quite intrigued. He asks, what happened? Why are the clocks so peculiar with only one set of hands? And the office bearer, or Chitragupta, tells him, oh, the first one represents Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. It moves only when a sin is committed in that period of time. So it is extremely slow, because the amount of sin committed in that period of time is very less, happens very infrequently. That's why it has only the hour hand. It moves very slowly. The second one is that of Treta Yuga, and it has minutes hand. So it still is slow, but moves much faster than the one with Satya Yuga. And the third one is Dwapara Yuga. Righteousness has declined quite a bit. Sins or wrong deeds are committed all the more frequently. That's why it has seconds hand, because it moves much quicker. So the person asks, what about Kali Yuga, the current day dark age? Chitragupta says, it's getting quite hot here. I'm using it as my ceiling fan because it goes so fast. So that is the state of Kali Yuga. Anyway, the whole time period is divided into 4. Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And there are various texts or scriptures that give a period or a calculation for each of these yugas. So let's not get into that. That's not what we are focusing at here. There is a scripture called Manusmriti, which was written almost more than 2000 years ago. And Manusmriti discusses about the calculation of the time pertaining to each of the yugas. And after specifying about it, it starts with Krita Yuga, the Satya Yuga, the first one, and then it says, compared to that, the second one has shorter amount of time. Compared to that, the third one has still shorter amount of time, a few years less, few years less in the whole period and the period of conjunction, etc. So let's not get to that. It defines all that, and after it defines all that, it comes to this particular verse, the Manusmriti, one in the bottom. It says, Yadetat parisankhyatamādāveva chaturyugam. So the verse says, likewise, the time period of each of the yugas are calculated. So we're not getting into that. It is in the preceding verses. But what does this verse say, or what are we focused on? It says, Etad, this Dvadasha Sahasram Devanam Yugamuchyate. It is what? Dvadasha Sahasram. 12,000. Dvadasha, 12. Sahasra, 1,000. So Dvadasha Sahasram, 12,000. Devanam, pertaining to the demigods, the celestial beings, Yugamuchyate. So what it basically says is the time period combining the 4 yugas for human beings, 12,000 of those in a cycle is 1 yuga for the divine beings, is what this verse talks about. So, why is it 12,000? We will discuss it in some other context. That's not our focus. What is our focus? It says the number 12,000. Okay, so that's why I shared this verse. So, when you say Yuga Sahasra Yojan Paribhanu, for the Yuga, what is the number that we are going to take? We are going to take 12,000, because we derived that from this verse. And then Yuga Sahasra. Sahasra is what? 1,000. The next verse, next slide. Yuga Sahasra is 1,000. And then we discuss Yojana can range from 7.5 miles to 8 miles. So when you say Yuga Sahasra Yojana, it basically means 12,000 multiplied by 1,000 multiplied by either 7.5 or up to 8. So what is the range? It goes to about 90 million to about 96 million. So 90 million miles to about 96 million miles. And what does Google tell us? It cites NASA's result. So when you say what's the distance from Earth to Sun, it gives the result from NASA, which is about 92 million miles. So this was something that was written in the 16th century, as we had discussed Tulsidas. And I guess most of the scientists back then were still figuring it out. How far is the sun from Earth? Of course, Archimedes and many other great scholars of the past, especially the Greek scholars, have given vague description about the distance from the sun. They ranged anywhere from 400 times the radius of Earth to whatever. But it became much more precise in the last couple of centuries. So Tulsidas mentions that much in advance in the 16th century. So the second way of interpreting Yuga Sahasra Yojana Paribhanu is calculating it with Yuga. The value of Yuga is 12,000, Sahasra is 1,000, Yojana could be 7.5 up to 8. We understand the sun is at about 90 million miles to about 96 million miles. So sun is up there, quite at a distance. And the sun is quite at a distance. And what did Hanuman do? He Lilyo tahi madhur phaljanu. What did he do? Lilyo tahi. He just gobbled it. He just consumed it. Madhur phaljanu, thinking it was a sweet fruit, a delicious fruit. It seems when Hanuman was a baby, of course, he was born as monkey. So he had the traits of a monkey, very difficult to control, because he had a lot of energy in him. And at the same time, Hanuman was someone who had a lot of big appetite. So he had to be fed every now and then. So Mother Anjana had her plates full, had her hands full. She had to keep feeding little Hanuman. And most of the time, he's just not satisfied with how much he's fed with. It seems once it went so much beyond control. He kept asking for more and more and more and more and more food. And Mother Anjana would give him every kind of food, fruits and cooked food, etc. He's still not done. He says, I'm very hungry, I want more. He starts throwing tantrums. So she's helpless, looking at her helplessness. Sage Narada Maharshi, he appears there and he says, I'll try to take care of it. And he tries to take care of it. He gives him fruits, special kinds of fruits, assuming it will quench his hunger, it will kind of satisfy his hunger. But Hanuman showed no sign of getting satisfied with whatever he felt. He said, I want more, I want more. Now even Narada was kind of clueless what to do. He says, if you are so hungry, you should probably get that fruit. He points up into the sky, onto the sun, says, that is the fruit probably that will satisfy your hunger. And he says, very well, if you tell me. And he just leaps and flies up into the sky. And the story goes, wherein he just goes and grabs the sun and tries to gobble the sun. And there are other incidents associated with it, where the Lord of the heavens, Indra, attacks Hanuman or stops him from doing so, because if he gobbles the sun, that will create an imbalance in the creation, etc. We'll not go there. But Hanuman he went all the way up there to gobble the sun. So when we look at it spiritually, when you say Hanuman had a great amount of appetite, he had a great amount of appetite to learn, to perceive as much as we can, as much as he could. His mother, his father, whoever was around them, he learnt a lot from them, but he was never satisfied. He wanted to learn more and more and more, to the extent that Maharshi Narada, who was considered to be the master of the 64 forms of art, master of one who has mastered the Vedas, etc. He was the Sankalpa Putra. He came out of the Sankalpa of Brahma into existence. So he was well versed with all the Vedas. Even he tried to give him fruits, he tried to give him different forms of knowledge, but he was not satisfied with that. And then when he was not satisfied with that, Narada told him, go for the sun itself, which basically represents he went for the supreme knowledge. Unless and until he went for the supreme knowledge, he was never satisfied. And why is sun representative of supreme knowledge? One, we discussed, sun was Surya Deva, the sun god was Hanuman's guru. Two, whatever we see around us, I see this camera, I see this computer, I see an apple, I see an orange, I see it because light falls on it and it reflects the light. And because I see the reflection of the light, my eyes perceive it and I interpret it as a camera, I interpret it as an apple, I interpret it as an orange. But what about the light itself? The light which comes, the very source of light is what? Sun. So my knowledge is based on what I see. What about light itself? That is the source of the knowledge. So why don't I go for the source of the knowledge, which the sun represents? So the spiritual impart here is Hanuman was ever craving to learn more and more and more and more and more, to the extent that he wasn't satisfied until he learned or got to the ultimate state to learn about the supreme truth. Only then he actually settled. So that's what the whole episode of Hanuman lunging up to grab the sun and gobble the sun is about. When we talk about Hanuman gobbling the sun, gobbling is representative of internalizing what the sun represents. Like the bhajan, old bhajan that Amma sings. As a matter of fact, if I understand it right, Amma herself wrote this song. It goes as Amme Bhagavati Kali Mate Ninne Nyaninnu Pidichu Tinnum. I feel only someone like Amma can dare to write a bhajan like this. But it has a profound meaning too. What does the verse say, or the song, how does the song go? It says, Amme Bhagavati, O Mother Kali. O Mother Bhagavati, O Mother Kali. Ninne Nyan Innu Pidichu Tinnum. You, today I'm going to just eat. I'm just going to devour you. I'm going to eat you. That's how the bhajan goes. And one of the lines in the eventual part of the bhajan, it goes as Unnugil enne nee tinnideyanam. Unnugil enne nee tinnideyanam. Allengil ninne njan innu tinnum. So either you eat me, else I will eat you. That's how the verse goes. And once Amma, while she was singing this bhajan, either before or after the bhajan, Amma was talking about the significance of eating the Divine Mother. Amma said the whole idea of eating the Divine Mother is to internalizing Divine Mother, to become the very embodiment of the qualities that the Divine Mother represents. I want to just ingest it. I want it to become my nature. I want the nature of the Divine Mother to become my nature. I want to become like the Divine Mother, is what gobbling the Divine Mother means, is what Amma was clarifying. Because otherwise, we would definitely wonder, what does it mean? You say you're talking to the Divine Mother and you say, I'm going to gobble you. And it's not just any Divine Mother, it's the ferocious Kali. You're telling Kali that I will eat you, you better eat me, else I'm going to eat you. So, quite a daring bhajan, but at the same time, it's quite profound when Amma interprets it, telling eating Kali is to internalize the qualities that the Divine Mother Kali represents. And just my thoughts about the second part that we discussed. Either you eat me, else I will eat you. I feel it just signifies the two paths of spiritual growth that we were discussing, the Bhakti Yoga and the Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, the path of devotion. When you say, I devour you, it is a path of knowledge. I try to understand what you represent, I try to contemplate on that, and then I try to internalize that. That is the process of me eating you, which is Jnana Yoga, which is the path of knowledge. You eating me is wherein we say, may your grace be such that it just consumes my ego, just takes my ego out of me, suck my ego out of me, help me get rid of my ego. I will try to practice humility, I'll try to practice surrender, not boasting about my ego, and through that process I overcome the ego. That's what it means when the line, it says you devour me. So either you devour me, which basically means take me in the path of devotion, or I will devour you, or take me in the path of knowledge. Both of them are going to take me to the state where my ego is surpassed, it is transcended. We transcend our ego and reach the state of perfection. So I thought I should share that because Amma was mentioning this. I think it is quite profound. So when we hear about Hanuman flying up into the sky and gobbling the sun, it basically represents this very thing, to internalize the divine qualities, to internalize the ultimate knowledge, the very light of knowledge and wisdom that the sun god Surya Deva represents. So Hanuman didn't settle for anything else. He wanted the ultimate knowledge. He wanted to realize the ultimate truth, and he lunged for that. So that's why it is Yuga Sahasra Yojan Parbhanu Lilyotahi Madhur Phal Janu. That is the 18th verse. I hope it makes sense. And then moving on to the 19th verse, it goes as Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukh Mahi Jaladhi Langhi Kaye Acharaj Nahi. So let's pronounce it in 4 parts. I'll pronounce it first. Please respond after me once. Prabhu Mudrika. Prabhu Mudrika. Meli Mukh Mahi. Meli Mukh Mahi. Jaladhi Langhi Gaye. Jaladhi Langhi Gaye. Acharaj Nahi. Acharaj Nahi. I'll pronounce it once altogether. Please respond after me once. Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukh Mahi Jaladhi Langhi Gaye Acharaj Nahi. Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukh Mahi Jaladhi Langhi Gaye Acharaj Nahi. So what does it say? Prabhu Mudrika. Prabhu translates to the Lord. Mudrika, a symbol or a representation. So Prabhu Mudrika, a symbol of the Lord. Lord Rama's symbol. Prabhu Mudrika. Meli Mukh Mahi. Meli, to take. To take how? Mukh, mouth, Mahi, in. So Mukh Mehi is how we would say in typical Hindi. In Awadhi, it's like Mukh Mahi. So verily in his mouth, he carried Lord Rama's symbol or Lord Rama's representation. We have discussed about this, how Hanuman ji carries Lord Rama's ring in his mouth. We'll anyway get to it once again. And then Jaladhi langhi gaye acharaj nahi. Jaladhi, referring to the water, huge water body, the ocean. Langhi gaye. Gaye, to go. Langhi, to cross and go. Acharaj nahi. There is no big deal about it, or there is no surprise about it that Hanuman could do it. What did he do? He crossed across the Indian Ocean from the southern part of India into Lanka. So, carrying Lord Rama's symbol in his mouth, he crossed across the ocean into Lanka, searching for Mother Sita. So we've discussed how Lord Rama and Lakshmana, along with the monkey army, the Vanara Sena, they head south looking for Sita based on the directions and the inputs they've gotten from various people of them seeing Ravana abducting Sita and taking her away to Lanka. So they all head south until when they reach one of the southern points of India, and now they have to cross the ocean and to look for Sita there. And we discussed how Hanuman was the chosen person, the chosen one to go across the ocean. And Lord Rama gives him his precious ring, his golden ring with precious stone on it, with the word Rama inscribed on it, with Lord Rama's name inscribed on it. We discussed about it during the verse Kanchan Varana Biraj Subesa. Kanchan Varana. We discussed about how Lord Hanuman has a golden hue, and we discussed how when he placed the ring in his mouth, he got the golden hue. We have discussed about it in one of the earlier verses. So just to recap what we discussed, so Hanuman was given the ring. Now he needs to carry it across the ocean, and he knows he's going to find a lot of obstacles on the way. So he needs to secure the ring. The first option is he just wears the ring, but he wouldn't do that because that would be disrespectful to Lord Rama and to the ring and to Mother Sita. So he thinks, I'm not going to wear it for sure. Then what should I do? Maybe I should hold it in my hand and fly. But when I hold it in my hand, it's not really secure. What if I lose it? Then he thinks maybe I should, put it in my clothes and tie it with my clothes. But even that, there's no guarantee that it will not fall off from my clothes. So he thinks that is also not a great idea. That's when he comes with the idea, the best way to hold it is my mouth. That way I am not going to drop it. It may seem very lame to carry a precious thing in one's mouth, but as much as innocent that Hanuman was, as much as the innocence that it shows when he says, I will carry it in my mouth, it is also profound in his explanation, because his explanation is such that once we hear it, we cannot look at it in any belittling way. So what does he say? Lord Hanuman's justification is what? He says, the ring has Lord Rama's name inscribed on it. And where should be Lord Rama's name? Ever. It should ever be in my tongue, because my tongue should ever keep chanting Lord Rama's name. So where should Lord Rama's name go? It should go to my mouth. Now when he says that, when he justifies it that way, we cannot argue, because it makes a lot of sense. So as much as innocent that Hanuman was, as much wise he was too. So he finally carries it in his mouth, and then he gets the golden hue. That's how it goes. So the first part of the verse, it says, Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukh Mahi. You took the symbol of Lord Rama, his ring, in your mouth. You carried it in your mouth. That's what it first says. And the second part says, Jaladhi langhi gaye acharajinahi. You went across the ocean. Jaladhi langhi gaye. And acharajinahi, there is no surprise about it, because you are so capable of doing so. We discussed about this too, how when they were actually looking for who should go across the ocean, there was Angada, another monkey. We discussed about this. He was the son of King Vali. He was extremely able like his father. But Angada was physically abled. But Jambavan the bear chose Hanuman over Angada. Why? He said both of them are physically abled. There's no doubt about it. But Hanuman is not just physically abled, he is also mentally abled. He is physically strong and mentally strong. Angada may not be so. He may be physically strong. I am not sure how strong he is mentally, because to go across the ocean, there are going to be many hurdles. Lanka itself was so enticing that it will draw your mind towards it. It will lure you towards it, and you'll get stuck in Maya. You will get stuck in illusion. So we need someone who is not just physically strong, we need someone who is mentally strong too, who should go across it. So there is no surprise that Lord Hanuman was selected for it. That's why Acharajinahi. There's no surprise that Lord Hanuman got selected. So now Lord Hanuman is going across the ocean. Jaladhi langhi gaye. And when he goes across the ocean, he does face a lot of obstacles. So only one who is both physically and mentally capable would be able to overcome these obstacles. So we'll talk about three obstacles that he faces. Mainly the three obstacles. The first obstacle is the Mainaka mountain that comes up. So the first one, we discussed how Jambavan, the bear, recognizes Hanuman's potential, and then he had to remind Hanuman of his potential. He had to sit with him, tell him, you have all this potential, you could go across with ease. So that was the first step. The second step is where Mainaka mountain is in a form of obstacle. So what happens? Hanuman now takes a leap from the southern part of India, from the coast, and he's flying at pace towards Lanka. And as he's flying towards Lanka, the Mainaka mountain, the Mainaka Giri or Mainaka mountain rises up from the ocean. First, it may seem like Mainaka mountain is rising up to create an obstacle. Rather, Mainaka had a good intention. He was very respectful of Lord Rama. He was devoted to Lord Rama, and he tells Hanuman, I am your friend. I want you to rest on me. Come and rest. I know you have been flying for a long time. Come and rest on me. And Hanuman says, no, I am not doing that. I am destined, or I am determined to get to Lanka, because I have only one thing in my mind, to find Mother Sita and give Lord Rama's symbol to her. So I will not respect. I am very determined. I will get to the destination. So Hanuman is steadfast on being determined to get to his goal, to achieving his goal. But at the same time, what does Hanuman do? He also thinks, poor thing, Mainaka river is trying to help me. How can I just disrespect him? What is it? Huh? Oh, sorry, not river, the mountain, sorry. The Mainaka mountain is trying to help me. How can I just ignore him and just tell him, no, get lost? I should do something for him for being nice to me. He says, okay, I'll do one thing rather than resting on you. Just because you are trying to help me, I'll set a foot on you and I'll take a bigger leap. So that way you will help me. That way I am not disrespecting your offer to help, and this will also help me uh, go farther. So he steps on Mainaka river and leaps even further. Mainaka mountain, not river, and he leaps further. So the first hurdle was wherein Hanuman could have just rested. He could have just taken his focus off the target, focus off the goal, and taken some rest, look for some comfort. But Hanuman did not do that. He decided, no, I am going to be steadfast on my target, on my goal, and I'm not going to compromise on that. But at the same time, he was not over obsessed about the goal either, that he ignored the good intention of the Mainaka mountain. He says, yes, I am determined to reach my goal, but I will also compromise a little bit and be respectful to you too. So, two things to learn here. As much as we are determined to get to our goal, we should also remind ourselves that we should not be over obsessed with the goal. It's like sometimes we take up some good principle to follow in life, and sometimes we become so obsessed with that principle that we don't think of the context and lose the sense of how we should be in a given situation. It's like someone, I mean, I myself have thought about it. About 20 years ago now, in 2003, I decided to let go of chai and coffee, because I would binge drink chai and coffee. I would have 6-7 cups each day. So in 2003, I decided I'm not going to drink chai and coffee. But it happens sometimes during the tour, I may have to make chai and coffee for the Swamis, or sometimes a few times for Amma too. But if I have to make the chai properly, I have to taste it. Else, how will I do justice to making chai for them? If that moment I think, oh, I have decided not to have chai or coffee at all, and I will not taste it, in which case I am too obsessed with my goal, with my principles, that I am losing track of what is practical in this moment. So, as much I am attached to not drinking chai, or as much I am determined to not drinking chai or coffee, as much I should be also not too obsessed about it. So that's what Hanuman sets an example here with the first hurdle, with the Mainaka mountain. Second one is Surasa. We have discussed about Surasa. We discussed about it when we were discussing about Hanuman's ability to become huge and become small. So Surasa is the demoness who had the ability, or who had the boon, that anything that she sets her sight on, it will come into her mouth. She will gobble it. She will just consume it. So she sees Hanuman, and she comes up and she says, I am going to consume you, and you have no choice. You have to enter my mouth, enter my body. I'm going to consume you. But then Hanuman says, no, I have a job that I need to do. I have a purpose that I have been assigned to achieve. So I cannot do that. But she says, you have no choice. You have to do it, because I have a boon doing that. So what does Hanuman do? He says, okay, if you really want to consume me, he becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. As much big that he got, Surasa would open her mouth wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. And Hanuman became so huge, but as big as he became, for Surasa it wasn't a problem at all. She would open her mouth as big. And then what does Hanuman think? Now I have an idea. Now that she has her mouth wide open, it will take some amount of time for her to close the mouth. So in a jiffy, he just transforms himself into a very small being. Ati Laghu is the term used. He becomes extremely tiny and quickly enters into her mouth and comes out. Because by the time the huge mouth closes, this little figure, the little being, goes in and comes out. Now he tells her, see, I respected your boon. I went into your mouth and now I'm out. Now you cannot stop me. And then Surasa says, I was here to test you. The demigod sent me here to test your strength, at the same time your mental strength, and you seem to be quite smart and you deserve to carry on in your journey. So he outwits Surasa. And so what does this teach us? We sometimes get into a situation wherein we have a hurdle and we need to announce how strong I am. Don't play the fool with me. I can handle this. So Hanuman became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, establishing his abilities. We have to sometimes establish our abilities, right? So as to face certain situations. But what does Hanuman do lastly? The more he established his abilities, the bigger the hurdle became. And then what did Hanuman do? He became small and insignificant. That teaches us, as much as we need to establish our abilities to face a situation, to resolve a situation, the problem in a situation, becoming small and becoming humble is also a solution. So as much it may be important for us to establish ourselves, as much it is important that we become humble. Sometimes that will take us out of the situation. So that's what we learn from Hanuman when he confronts Surasa. The third one is the Simhika Rakshasi, Simhika Demoness. Simhika also had the name Chaya Grahani Rakshasi or Chaya Grahana Rakshasi. Chaya, shadow. Grahana, one who could pull or one who could just eclipse or swallow. So Chaya Grahana Rakshasi had an ability to just suck in your shadow. So Hanuman, after dealing with Surasa, he's flying with all his might in pace towards Lanka, and suddenly he feels a barrier. He's not able to proceed anymore. He feels a pull downwards, and then he finds out it is the Chaya Grahana Rakshasi. It is Simhika who's trying to pull him down. She's trying to pull in his shadow and his power, and Hanuman gets consumed by Simhika Rakshasi, demoness Simhika. Then what does Hanuman do? He got consumed by her. He says, I am not getting stuck inside her. He uses all his might and with all his strength, all his abundant strength that he was with, he just tears open through her body and comes out and then carries on. He puts an end to Simhika Rakshasi. So again, the lesson for us here is Simhika Rakshasi represents our negative tendencies, our negativities and tendencies. They always pull us down. As much as we are trying to rise, our negativities and our negative tendencies always try to pull us down. They just, the negativities just suck us into a state of confusion, into a state of indefiniteness. We don't know what to do, what not to do. We get into a state of confusion, right? So Simhika Rakshasi represented that. And when Hanuman got consumed by it, Hanuman used all his might. There is no compromise here. There is no compromising with her. He got consumed. He says, now I'll use my strength to get out of this. And he uses his strength to get out of it. So when we deal with our negativities, there is no way we can compromise with it. It may feel like I am going to have a compromise with my anger. I am going to have a compromise with my habit of impatience. There is just no way to compromise with negativities. If we have to deal with our negativities, we have to deal with head on. That's the best way to deal with our negativities. So that's what Hanuman does here. So overcoming all these hurdles, Lord Hanuman, he crosses over the Indian Ocean successfully and then reaches Lanka. And finally, in Lanka, he also encounters Lankini, another demoness who safeguards the Lanka borders. She's like the demoness immigration officer. No one can get into Lanka without her permission, and Hanuman, outwits her too. So we are not discussing much about Lankini, because what we are discussing about is crossing over the ocean and the hurdles, three hurdles that he faced. So if we try to summarize based on how Lord Hanuman went over the ocean, overcoming the hurdles, that basically gives us the ingredients for success. It gives us the ingredients for how we should go about trying to seek or trying to achieve our goal. What is the first step? To actually identify what my strengths are, to identify my potential, to realize what I am capable of. The very first step, and very important. We should be very well aware of what I am capable of, very well aware of what I am not capable of. And only with that knowledge should we proceed. As we proceed, we should be aware of it. Second, we should always be determined, ever focused on our goal and not get distracted. That's what the example of the Mainaka mountain was. We can get distracted looking for our comfort, what I want to do, but Hanuman did not heed Mainaka's request to rest. But at the same time, we should not be too obsessed with the goal. We should also be not too attached to our goal. So he did that, and he did satisfy Mainaka's request too, right? So that is the second ingredient for achieving our goal. The third one, as we fight through the situation with our best abilities, with our might, we should also remind ourselves sometimes it is not only through fighting but through our humility that we can win over the situation. And I think in most of the cases it would be our humility along with our abilities that takes us out of our situation. So always remember, it's not about just fighting in situations, rather it should also be about being humble. That will take us out of the situation. That is what happened with Surasa, how Hanuman handled Surasa. And fourth, when it comes to our negativities and negative tendencies, there is just no compromise. We should face them head on and deal with them with force and fight our way out of it. That's what Hanuman taught us with Simhika, with the shadow swallowing demoness. So that, I feel, is quite a profound or quite a complete recipe for how should we pursue after our goal. So that's what the verse 19 is trying to convey. Lord Hanuman, who carried Rama's symbol in his mouth, his ring in his mouth, and he overcame all the hurdles as he crossed over the ocean. Prabhu mudrika meli mukh mahi jaladhilang hi gaye acharaj nahi. There is no surprise that Hanuman could achieve it for who he was. So as I've done it in the past, we have the tables for each of the verse. We have a table with the gist of each of the verse. We'll just look at the 18th and the 19th one today. So you may have to go to the last slide. I'm just reiterating in case you want to access the previous slides for all these contents of the table. You can always refer to the announcement email that goes out. In the announcement email, there is a link for the previous slides. So you can just click. It takes you to a Google Drive with all these slides, PDF in them. So the 18th verse, what did we learn? What did Lord Hanuman teach? Being a true devotee, what should we do? We should never settle for anything but the ultimate supreme knowledge. There is no denying that we do need the mundane knowledge, we do need the other forms of knowledge, but we should not just settle with that thinking I am now wise. We should not settle until we attain the supreme knowledge. And two, we should let, in the path of devotion, we should let the divine grace just consume our ego. Let go of the ego, not hold on to the ego tight. That's what we learned from 18th verse. And the 19th verse, what did we learn? We learned this, Lord Hanuman teaches us to ever keep the Lord's name in our mouth, to ever keep the Lord's name, the chanting of the Lord's name going in our tongue, in our mouth. Lord's name should ever be in our mouth. The significance of chanting the mantra all the time. Two, to recognize our strength. Three, to be ever focused on the goal and at the same time not be too obsessed with the goal. Four, to fight with our might, but at the same time also realize it's not always our might that will get us out of the situation. It could be humility. And five, to just not in any way compromise with our negativities and our negative tendencies. We have to deal with them. We have to do something to get rid of them, else they will always linger around. That's what the 19th verse teaches us. So you can always refer to the table at the end of the slides. I think I started including the table from, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So the initial slides may not have the table, but you can always refer to one of the recent ones and you will find the table. So we'll conclude the discussion here. Someone is asking, how can I access the previous slides? Like I had mentioned, in case you are not enrolled or you're not subscribed to the Google groups, please send an email to MA Center EC for East Coast. We'll send the email on the chat. Please send an email there requesting to be added to the Google groups. So you would get the weekly announcement emails, and in the announcement email you would have the link to the slides. Okay, so no more questions. So we will conclude the discussion here, and now we will chant or sing the Hanuman Chalisa. Give us a couple of minutes as always. We'll quickly set up the mic and the instruments and we'll chant or sing the Hanuman Chalisa. Om Amriteshwaryaye Namah. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार बरना रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय हनुमान सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय हनुमान। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावै अस कहीं श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय हनुमान सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय हनुमान। तुम्हरो मंत्र पुत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही, जलधि लांघि जय अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संहारो आपै, तीनों लोक हांकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है परिसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहा रघुपति के दासा। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाहि, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटै मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंधि महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़ै हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय मह डेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओ माता सीता की जय, ओ माता सीता की जय। ओ भ्राता सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओ माता सीता की जय, ओ भ्राता लक्ष्मण की जय। ओ माता सीता की जय, ओ भ्राता लक्ष्मण की जय। भरत और शत्रुघ्न की जय, भरत और शत्रुघ्न की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय। मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।